Welcome to Faithfully Us, a space where faith meets family and quiet voices are heard. If you're looking for encouragement and real talk, you're in the right place. Let's walk this journey together. How do you feel about making friends, like right now in this stage where you are?
Everyone who ever comes across me says I'm super friendly and I'm a friendly person, but I feel as though I don't really make friends
Yeah, me too.
because I don't know, for me, I think I'm very guarded around people because I think this really started from back in high school. So I learned that I have to really be careful with who I associate with.
Yeah.
And I think that just followed me throughout life. Because I had some close friends in high school, and next thing you knew, they were doing drugs.
Yeah, yeah.
They were doing other things that I knew that I didn't want to be a part of, and
Yeah.
things of that. So I think with me, I'm very guarded, and I think that's also why it's easy for me to cut people off, which
Mm-hmm.
also isn't a good thing. It's a good thing. I feel like when you're younger, but when you're older and everything, and I think I've been getting out of that where I don't just cut people off. I allow you to do what you want to do, but I'm gonna say I'm not gonna be part of it.
What's some of the reasons why you would cut off people from
Um,
friendships?
I think because I feel as though God has given me like the innate ability to
Discern.
discern and be able to see, hey, this isn't going where this is going someplace where you don't want to go.
Right,
So
right.
you need to separate yourself and you need to move into a different lane and not follow. I feel as though that's been how it's been throughout my entire life. And um, a lot of times what I've noticed is that you need to give people time to show themselves
Yeah.
as friends. Because you might like a person, you might talk to them, then while you're talking to them, you realize there's like a whole bunch of different things where you're like, oh, that's kind of questionable. Maybe I don't want to involve myself in that.
And
So
I feel like it's not things like, oh, they love mushrooms. I hate
yeah,
mushrooms. It's not things like that. It's just things of like deeper on a deeper level, because do you want this in your life?
yeah.
Do you want to bring this person around your family?
Yeah,
You know what I
exactly.
mean?
Exactly. And I think that's a big part too, is that you have to think about, is this someone that I want to have around my kids? Is
Right.
this someone who I think will look out for my kids? Is this someone who would harm my kids in any way or harm my family
Yeah.
or do things to just like, you know what I'm talking about. So
Yeah.
I think it just as you get older, there's a lot more that goes into every single decision.
It's not a wave of, hey, come talk
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and I think a lot of it too is I feel like I'm always mindful that even though I'm friendly and I'm someone who love people,
Hmm.
that people might not love me just because of like the color of my skin
You're a black man
or
in
I'm a black
America.
man in America and stuff like that. So
You have to be
so
mindful.
there's a lot, yeah, there's a lot of stuff. I feel as though I can sense that I'm very good at sensing
Mhm.
motives and behaviors and attitudes. I'm a people watcher.
Yeah.
I think that's why I got into psychology because I always did that anyway. So
So you
um,
have to be, you're just mindful with who
yeah.
you interact with, of
hmm
course.
But also it's not. I feel like people would hear that and be like, so you just go around judging people all the time, and I feel like there's a difference between judging people and looking out, making sure you're in not I wouldn't say safe space because that has a negative connotation now, but in a space where you're not going to be harmed.
Yeah.
And when I say harmed, I don't really mean by words, but I mean like people who are looking to harm you,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
looking to get you into trouble, looking to just have a bad, just giving you a bad name and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So, um, I feel like there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of stuff, and I don't know. I'm not doing it justice by trying to explain,
Yeah. No, I get
but
it.
yeah.
Maybe we'll have to dive deeper in another episode about this.
hmm
Um, so I had a really, I went to, our son got invited to a birthday party, And I went and I was like, "Oh, I don't know any of these parents." And I had a really good it was like 2 hours. We were there for like 2.5 hours. And in the 2.5 hours, I was chatting with this other mom who was there, who was by herself, and I kind of sat down the table with her. And we were just chatting and having a great time. And I thought, I thought she was really nice and stuff. And it could have been like, okay, hey, you want to get your number? And but then it's like it's just a lot of work, right? Like because it's like, hey, let me get your number. We should grab coffee sometime.
Yeah.
When is that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's just to have friends now in this season. It's just a lot of work because you can't just talk to them one time. We had a great time. You got to do stuff to kind of keep it going, and get to know them so you can text and stuff like that. It's just a lot of work to like, all right, you want to have coffee? When? I'm busy. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Um, so I think a lot of my um friends that I have are older friends. We've been going to our church now for almost 4
4 years.
years,
Yeah.
something like that now. And there's people in our church I would love to, have a closer connection with. Um, but I think it's just hard life, right? And they could be in a different season of life than I am, so
Yeah.
their schedule's different or work schedules or whatever. But I think for me it's just harder to make friends, and it's not something that
Yeah.
um I'm looking like, oh yeah, I want to make a friend today.
Yeah.
Speaking of, so Kemoy decided that he wanted to set me up on a blind friend date. Let's talk about that, Kemoy. Talk to me about
I don't
who you
know.
want to set me up with.
Okay, and that's another thing too, because like I always like there's people you come across and you're like, okay, it's the same. Would I want this person around my family? Would I want this? Do I think my wife would get along with them? Stuff like that. So it's just a coworker. Known her for a couple years now. And I'm like, I think my wife would actually get along with her. So it was just one day I was just thinking, I was like, maybe I'll set them up on a blind friend date. So so it was kind of random, and
It was
so yeah.
very random. I
Yeah.
was like,
Yeah,
huh? Who
so
is this person?
yeah.
But why her? Like what is it about her that you thought, oh, Kirstie
So
might like?
from what I've seen, I don't think there hasn't been anything that I've questioned. Oh, okay, that's kind of weird and stuff like that. And usually, like when you're getting to know someone and you've been around someone for a good enough period of time, there's something that comes up where you're like, okay, that's kind of.
Did you think like, yeah, Kirstie's lonely, she needs friends. Let me just hook her up.
No,
Is that
no,
what
no,
you were
no, no,
thinking?
no. So I think, honestly, no, I don't think that you're lonely, you need friends, but I do feel as though you need someone like friends, like a solid group of friends. I feel like everyone needs that friend group that you could just hang out with and just be yourself and just not worry
So
about life and not worry about kids and stuff like that
so are you
and be able
saying
to talk.
so are you saying I need friends in Colorado? More friends in Colorado, is what you're
Yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah. Friends to actually like do stuff with. And
Mm.
it's yeah, and hang out. Like there's a difference between like being on the phone or texting and actually being like going out and doing stuff together and liking to be in each other's company and stuff like that.
Why do you think I need that? Why do you think that's important?
Because I feel like we're people. You need friendships. Like there's stuff that even though we're married, that I feel as though it'll be better for you talking to somebody else about instead of necessarily coming to me.
Mm, hmm.
So
And instead of dragging you shopping, I should.
exactly that too, that too. So if you need a shopping buddy, you can find a shopping buddy. So
But I want you to come with me.
yeah,
What
just
about?
to hold the stuff, right? So
But what about you? Like, what about you? Do you need that too?
I think yes.
So should I go on the search to find new friends? Like,
I wasn't.
good
I
thing?
was. You acted as though I was like holding up a sign.
Well,
My wife needs a friend.
I don't know. It sounds like that.
So,
It sounds like
so
that. I
yeah.
don't know.
So yeah, but I but I don't know.
It's different.
I think
Yeah.
it's different. Yeah, it's different, and I do have a couple friends, but then of course they're far
Far
away and everything. But it's just different. It's just different, and then everyone, as you're saying, schedules and stuff don't line up for people who are in the proximity to you and stuff like that. And yeah, for instance, this weekend I had an opportunity to do that, but then other things came up we had our son's birthday party and
Oh,
everything, so
yes,
we couldn't do
yes.
that.
Yeah, you couldn't do that.
So
Yeah, it
so
just
yeah.
everything I feel like things just fall. You
Hmm.
gotta give us a lot of notice so we can,
Yeah.
this was our son's birthday party was already planned. But I just I'm thankful for low maintenance friends. It's however, we've had a lot of couple friends
Hmm.
that we would hang out with.
And I think that actually works out the best, like
I
for our situation.
But it's funny because I feel like our couple friends are not like, yeah, it's Kemoy's friend and he brought his wife and they're weird. But it's we actually genuinely like each other. So you like the husband, I like the wife. We'll hang out all together as a couple,
Yeah.
and then we'll hang out separately
Yeah.
too. And I think it's worked out well.
Yeah.
Not like I'm sitting here like, oh, here we go. Kemoy's having a great time. I'm stuck with,
Yeah.
you know. Um,
That
what
can get awkward
that
quick.
can get awkward.
Yeah.
But it's worked out.
Yeah.
It's worked out pretty well for us. What about making friends of the opposite sex?
Yeah.
Right? Like, so I mean, it's hard because like how do you make friends? Let's say workplace.
Yeah.
Right? So like you make a friend, it's a coworker, she's a lady.
Yeah.
Um and then you guys are hanging out without
Yeah.
me. How is
Yeah.
that?
So
How is that?
I think that can be dangerous. And me
Mhm.
personally, I think just saying from my point of view, me having a female friend and that singer, I should probably stay away from that because I feel like even though you go into it innocently, things might happen because in marriages and stuff, you go through things, and you never know what would happen, where your mindset might be, and what might. Because obviously, you guys are friends, so you like something about that person.
Mhm.
So I think that's just something that could be dangerous. And me, I'm not saying for anybody else, but I think for me, it's best if I don't. I think there's a difference between having work friends, but then when it's like you're hanging out outside of work, that's a different story.
So
So
so what about you going over to their house
yeah,
and doing stuff for them? Because I'm thinking
me,
about a particular
yeah,
situation. Come on, your
yeah.
work friend.
Me personally,
Still.
me. So-
It was a particular anyway. But I feel like there's a couple coworkers who are of the opposite. They're women.
yeah,
That Kemoy has really close friendships with. I mean, he's been with with at this particular job for over 10 years, right? So, but they're friends, but they're more like what, work moms,
work moms, yeah,
right? So it's not awkward if
yeah,
Kemoy goes over and he's helping one of them
with
mow their
yard work
lawn
and
or
stuff
their
like that,
yard
yeah,
work or computer stuff, right? It's not weird at all because that's their relationship. It's more like mother
yeah.
son than
So,
how what about me? Like I have a male coworker and he's like,
mhm,
Kirstie, let's hang out all the time. And I'm like, all right, I'm going to hang out with, I don't know, Bob.
mhm.
How would you feel in that situation?
I'll be wondering why you need to be hanging out with Bob.
But like, would you
So
think, because I would think, like, let's say you are hanging out with, I don't know, give me somebody's name. I don't know, Becky. So
mhm,
you're hanging out. Becky's like, come on, let's go hang out, right?
yeah.
Without me. Like,
Yeah.
would you think, well, no, can my wife come? Like,
Yeah, yeah,
stuff like
exactly,
that?
exactly. Because just asking that, like there'll be so many questions going through my head.
Mhm.
Like, why you want to go hang out with me? Yeah. So I just think it's just a weird situation that I would avoid.
Yeah.
And then if it was you going out with someone, I would have a lot of questions going through my mind. And yeah, and I think that would just lead to problems because, as I say, in marriages, like you have certain feelings, and then it's not always it's not always like sunshine.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
So
like
we have an argument, and
what
then I go
yeah, and
out with
then so
Bob.
then we have an argument, and I was like, okay, so
Now you're going out with
why
Bob.
do you need to be hanging out with Bob? And
Yeah.
we're having these problems and stuff like that, and then you just rather leave me and go out be with Bob and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah.
So have you ever been in a situation like that where you were like, oh, this person at work or this person I met, invited me out? Have you ever had something like that?
Yeah, I think I've had two
Situations like that?
co-workers, yes, and I purposely didn't go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I found some kind of excuse whereas to why I couldn't.
Was it like people our age that
It was
Were
our age, yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Was it like in a
But I'm not saying that they had any intent on
yeah.
anything, but just
Was it just you alone, like
um
saying like, hey,
no. So
or was
that
it a
too. It
group?
was a group.
Yeah.
Yes, it was a group. So I don't recall ever being anything where it's like one on one or anything like that. So yeah, so it's just a group, but it depends because I have joined things before when it's like sport outings, like we're going to play softball or
Yeah.
something like
Yeah.
that. But then if it's like just like a hangout and stuff like that,
Yeah.
so and plus that in itself was probably because it was a hangout, going
Yeah.
to a bar and
Yeah.
stuff like that. So yeah,
I think it just depends on where you are and what you feel comfortable
yeah,
with, right? Like I feel like, and this, let me say, this is just us,
yeah,
right? Like if you're like, oh no, I have, oh, okay, what about this? Before me, you had a best friend that's a
yeah.
girl that you were
And
like this.
I think
How does that,
I
how
think
does
that would
that?
be a different situation, because me personally, I don't know what that is because I've never had a friendship with a girl. Well, that's not true. That's not true because we've had like think friends, but where it's like not a group of friends, but
Yeah.
like one on one with another girl, with a girl, where it wasn't because I wasn't interested in her. So everything, whereas I was friends with a female, where it wasn't like a group of friends or it was just oh we're just hanging out watching movies. It's always because I kind of had feelings or something like that. So
Okay. So let's flip that. Let's
hmm
say I had a male best friend
hmm
before you.
hmm
And I'm like, hey, this is my friend, I don't know, Fred,
hmm
right? How would you feel? Like we're just friends. We've been friends for a long time
yeah.
before you. How would you feel
It
about
would be
that?
the same thing.
What?
I would question. I was like, is there more to this?
No, like we're just friends.
why are you guys such good friends?
Yeah, Fred's
So,
great. He's my best friend,
hmm
but I love you. I'm with you,
yeah,
like how would that make you feel?
yeah,
But then but before you answer that, like I also feel like, we get married, you also have to be mindful, right? Like I can't just be like, all right, I'm hanging out with friends,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
right? Like, come on, Kawaii, let's go hang out
yeah,
more.
yeah.
Like
There
I
has to
think
be a
it's gonna
change in the relationship.
yeah,
Yeah,
there has to I think there has to be a change in the relationship because you want to make sure that there's
yeah,
nothing going on there. Not saying that you don't trust me and I don't
yeah,
trust
yeah,
you, but you just have to put up
yeah,
there's boundaries and rules
yeah.
that you have to yeah.
I feel like you can't make your spouse feel as though they have to compete with somebody else.
Yes.
So I
Absolutely.
think that's where the issue is. So something has to change. You have to be mindful of how your spouse might feel and what they might be thinking. So, and it's hard because I've never been in that situation. So I'm
Right.
not sure how someone in that situation would feel or having a friend, a best friend of the opposite sex. Like, what would that mean? What that relationship is like and it might be hard to just like put it down when it's been a really good friend who's helped you through bad times. You guys have had a lot of experiences together and stuff like that. So that might be a hard one for me to.
Yeah, I mean, and
Yeah.
I haven't been in that situation
hmm
either. So I mean, other people might say, "Oh no, here's how we do it.
hmm
It works out fine for us." But I think, and we've never really had this conversation of like, no, you cannot go, with we
Yeah.
never had that. It's just this is our relationship. We kind of already know each other, and
And
we're respectful
I think
to each
that
other.
too is there's so many dynamics us not being from here like changes.
Yeah,
Cause I feel like it would be
it's
different if we
common.
were from here and we had like a whole group of friends that we grew up with and stuff like that.
Yeah,
So yeah, I
yeah.
think us not being from here changes a lot of the dynamics and things that we go through.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, I haven't had that. And I this is not a conversation that Kamoy and I have sat down and said, okay, listen, now I'm your wife. These are the rules. We've never I know, right? Like, okay, we've never had that.
Yeah.
It's just this is just that what's worked for us.
hmm
But also like I could put it in the same before somebody gets upset, like, oh, she can't have any male friends, he can't have like I put it in the same category as just friendships in general, right? So we, before you, let's say every day you would go play basketball.
Yeah.
We got married, every day you go play basketball.
Yeah.
I see you very little.
Yeah.
That would affect your
Yeah.
marriage, right? So
Exactly.
it's just there's just things that have to change. And I'm not saying like, oh, so marriage, you get married and now it sucks. Not at all. I
But there's
just
a
think
dedication when with marriage is a dedication you have towards a person though. So you have to show a dedication to them and and be concerned about their well-being. If you're spending so much time away, how you gonna know what's going on with them and
Right.
stuff like that?
And it's
So
the same thing. We talked about it in another episode. It's the same thing where if you spend too much time, what happens to your girlfriends? What happens to your guy friends that you
mhm,
had before? The friendship starts to dwindle. So yeah, it's important to, of course, be with your spouse, love your spouse, but also, it's important to have your friends too, your other friends that you can go, like you said, go do
yeah,
shopping and do other
go
stuff.
do the shopping.
And do, and do the other stuff too. So yeah, I think it's important. I wanted to talk about like ending friendships,
Mhm,
and looking back at past friendships
yeah,
and seeing that was not healthy at all.
mm,
There's one that comes to mind, where it's like, uh, how did we become, how did we stay friends? And we reconnected, and it was like, yeah, this is not a good,
hmm,
there, I think there's friendships that's really one-sided.
yeah. Do you think that came with, like, maturing and with age?
Well, it's funny because I think when you're in something you don't see it,
Mm,
but people on the outside see it. I This particular friendship that I'm thinking of, my mom had, warned me about this, and other friends would say things that I'm like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And time, I moved, she moved, time just, and then we kind of came together again, and it was like, what is happening right now?" And I think, there comes a time where you don't have to be friends with everybody. It's okay to kind of let things go, and the reconnection was really excited because I haven't how are you, and all the
yeah,
things, and then we kind of fell back in line to what it was, and I realized like this was not for me.
mm,
There's just that, in life, there's friendships that are really one-sided. Um, and sometimes you just have to let it go.
yeah,
And I mean, it worked out because we didn't live in the same state, but the communication just kind of died down.
yeah,
I think it would be harder to end a friendship when you're in the same state or you're so close or something. Because how do you do that?
yeah,
And how do you explain why? Because no matter what you say, they're not gonna,
yeah,
and I think sometimes friendships have to end. I was in this season, now I'm here, and it just, you're not, and not saying that like you're not bringing anything to me, right? It's not one-sided, but you're dragging me down,
yeah,
and I can't be dragged down with you anymore. So yeah, it's just, I don't know.
yeah,
Um, that's one of the hard parts of being an adult.
yeah,
It's like ending friendship. How do you do it?
yeah,
And I think one of the biggest ways that I've seen is people just ghost people.
yeah, and I think so going back to what I was talking about earlier too is that I was really good at just walking away.
Yeah.
And so and I've never really had to be like, "Oh, I have to end my friendship with you."
Yeah.
It was just that
You're just done.
I just walked away, moved on.
Yeah.
So, and I've never I can't say or I can't say that I recall having friendships where it, like, drug me down, where I was doing things that I shouldn't be doing and stuff like that.
Well,
And
when I say drug me down, I'm not saying that I was doing anything that I shouldn't.
yeah.
It's more of like the mindset. Like it's always something. There's just a lot of baggage. It's something, and it's
Gotcha, gotcha. I
draining.
hear you, I hear you.
And it's
Mhm,
it's always about you. It's what, you know what I mean?
mhm.
Like there's just stuff like that that
Yeah,
as you mature and as you grow, it's like I can't take
yeah.
that on anymore. I have a husband, I have 3 kids. It's too much.
Gotcha.
Everything's about you. I thought it was going to be light and and fun, but we kind of got deep there. Like I said, we want to do an episode with answering questions. So please throw your questions in the chat. What is something that you want us to talk about? What is something about our culture, our background, our upbringing that you want us to talk about?
A background?
I said background. Okay, now I gotta start over. What is something about our background that you want us to talk about? Our culture, our upbringing, our identity, our whatever it is. Thank you for tuning in once again to Faithfully Us.